Hey friends, before we get into today's episode, I want to share with you another great podcast. No Straight Path, hosted by Ashley Menzies Babatunde, is brought to you by the HubSpot Network. By shedding light on the stories behind the shiny resumes, social media highlights, and job titles, No Straight Path aims to humanize success from the millennial perspective. Featuring guests from all walks of life, No Straight Path aims to inspire conversations around the nuanced perspective of success. An episode you might want to check out is Building Safer, More Equitable Workplaces with Lexi B. In it, Alexandria Butler, otherwise known as Lexi B, shares how professional theater classes prepared her to tap dance for the masses, despite being introverted by nature. And she also shares the unexpected introduction she had to the tech industry. Listen to No Straight Path wherever you get your podcasts. You're listening to Side Hustle Pro, the podcast that teaches you to build and grow your side hustle from passion project to profitable business. And I'm your host, Nicaila Matthews-Okome. So let's get started. Before we jump right into today's episode, we have a quick word from Comcast RISE.
This episode is brought to you by Comcast RISE. Check out our latest documentary, The Road to Rise, as we follow the lives of 4 small business owners, all on a journey to achieve big dreams. We stop in 4 different cities to see how underrepresented entrepreneurs find success through the hype and the hustle. This is a documentary you don't want to miss. Because when small businesses succeed, we all do. To watch now, visit ComcastRise.com or say Comcast Rise into your Xfinity voice remote. Keep rising.
Hey friends, welcome back to the show. Today in the guest chair, I have Domonique Brown, a multi-hyphenate creative. She is the artist and founder behind Domo Inc, a lifestyle brand that contributes art, apparel, and home decor in celebration of diversity and empowerment. Her work spans illustrating art panels for a line of Samsung refrigerators to art directing a whole home decor line for Target. You've probably seen and purchased her work from Target, as a matter of fact. And in today's episode, she shares how her side hustle went from Instagram posts to Target stores, how she approaches conversations with major brands regarding pricing and licensing her art, how she manages the financial ups and downs of entrepreneurship, and so much more. Let's get right into it. All right. So welcome officially, Dominique, to the guest chair.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here. As we were talking in the pre-show, and I was just sharing how much I love your work, and I've seen it for a while, and I'm so happy that I finally have you in the guest chair to share a little bit about your unique path and experience in side hustling. So let's take it back a little bit. When were you first bitten by the side hustle bug?
I feel like I've been bitten by the side hustle bug since like 2018. When I first started, I wasn't really thinking. I was selling earrings and pins. I wasn't even thinking of selling my art prints. I didn't think that there was that big of a market for Black art. So I just started selling some earrings and pins on Etsy, and it was bringing in some cash. And then eventually I gave it up because I was like, okay, I really want to buy a house. I can't buy a house selling earrings and pins on the side. So I ended up doing 2 jobs. At one point I was doing marketing for real estate. I was doing marketing for healthcare. So then eventually, during the pandemic, I decided to give up the real estate job and then just focus on trying to pick up a side hustle, which is Domo Inc. now.
Now, have you always known you were an artist? I know some people discover the skill kind of accidentally. How long have you been an artist, and when did you discover this talent?
I feel like I've always been an artist, I could say. I feel like I've always been drawing. I remember my first memory of me drawing was when I was in preschool. I was drawing this lady with super long hair. Aww. I mean, if I probably saw the drawing now, it probably looks a mess. It's probably just
But in your recollection, it was beautiful.
Right? In my heart, I want to say it was gorgeous. It was Picasso-like. But I remember my teacher was like, oh, this is so great. And I think that motivation, kind of just kept me wanting to draw as a kid. But then when I got to high school, I really took it on because I had an AP art course. Ooh. I started going to USC for fine art classes. So I really just took it on seriously in high school.
Oh, that's so awesome that you had those art classes. Shout out to great teachers and shout out to schools that keep their art programs. So you grew up in California, were able to take classes at USC. Then what was your career path from school to what you're currently doing?
I would say like, so when I was in high school, I took like I took one art class and then I ended up taking like, I can't even think, it's probably like intermediate art.
Yeah.
And I took it with this teacher. His name was Mr. Gilstrap. He was like, your work is really great. Because at first I was just in there goofing off in class, wasn't taking it serious. And I did one assignment and he was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So he put me in this program called Rhyme and Arts, which I would suggest to anybody. Yeah, Rhyme and Arts. RYMAN.
What's that about?
It's amazing. It's a good program for like high school kids. They can go to, I don't know where the schools are now, but like when I was in there, it was like you can take courses at USC, and you're taught by college professors on how to do like life drawing, like just painting. They had a bunch of different courses, and also they had like mentors come in and speak to us and show us different pathways for us as artists. Like we can go work for Disney, we can go into animation. Like it was so many different options that they were showing us, and I think that really like gave me a path into what I wanted to do when I went to college. So when I ended up going to community college first because I couldn't afford art school. I wasn't going to go in debt, so I went to Mount San Antonio, and I studied graphic design. I got my AA in that, and then I did my next 2 years at Cal Poly Pomona in communication. That was like the back way route into going into marketing. And then after that, I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills and got my MBA.
So first of all, I love what you shared about that program. And that's why programs like that are so important. And we will link to that. Hopefully we can find it, because exposure is everything, right? Like I just discovered the other day, or another guest on the show talked about like Disney Imagineers, like I didn't even know about that career path, or that's what they call their creators. So you can't be what you literally don't know. And if you only think, an artist is painting for museums, like you don't realize like there are all these different ways you can use your gift.
Yes, absolutely. I think like one of the part of the program, they had it to where you can go to Disney Animation Studios and they do a portfolio review. And I just brought my artwork and they gave me like good marks, and I like really like pushed me too. I was like, oh, maybe I could be an artist. Yeah. I just got to figure out which path I want to go in. And I just chose I wanted to go into marketing.
So once you went into marketing, at what point did you say, I want to also sell my artwork on the side?
I think with the success of Etsy, like when I was selling the pins and earrings, once the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I have time. I'm in the house, like I'm working remote now. So I decided to start selling my artwork on Etsy just to see. I just wanted to see what was going to happen. And people started buying. And then I ended up creating my own website, which is DomoINK.com, and people started shopping there. And then I started like going through like third party vendors to try to license my artwork, and it just caught on. So at first it was like a little side hustle. I thought it was going to be like nail and hair money. But then it ended up turning into, like that's what I was thinking. I was like, hey, I get my hair done,
I love that you said that, because that's how I always start any side hustle. Like, all right, this will be my money for, my play money. Like, you know, Uncle Sam will get his cut and then the rest is my play money. Like that's how side hustles.
How I looked at it. I didn't think it was going to blow up to where I was making more money in my side hustle than my own job. I didn't think it was going to go that way.
And before we get back into that, I want to know more about the name, because it's obviously a play on your name, but it's also related to the materials you use for your art, right?
Yes, I had went through like 1,000 names. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to name myself. So I know my dad is always, he said I owe him, because so I was thinking, I was like Domo and Ink. And then he was like, what about Domo Inc? And I was like, I love that. So he always tells me like, you owe me
you
for
owe
that.
Me.
So,
yes. I love that. Shout out to Dad. And then you also mentioned licensing your artwork. So what does that mean in the world of art, and what's the process?
Okay, so I think a good thing as an artist is that if you can't beat them, join them. So for me, as I just had to join the wells, you can say, like Society 6, iCanvas, or, just trying to license my artwork through like Home Goods.
Okay.
Because obviously those marketplaces have more exposure, they have more advertising dollars. And also at the same time, like even though I'm selling through them and I'm getting less because of the commissions they're paying,
Yeah.
it's advertising for my own business without me having to spend any money. So people will go on Society 6, they'll see like a limited selection of my artwork, and then they're like, oh, let me see what else you got. So then go to my Instagram or they go to my store and see I have way more to offer, and then they'll purchase through there.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was that's kind of, I mean, obviously you have to give some rights to use your work, but yeah, that is cool. I've seen lots of artists on Society 6 and done just that. Like, well, let me see what else they got.
Oh yeah, you have to. Like some artists don't want to, because, it's kind of like you have a risk of your artwork getting stolen,
Right.
but I think for me, I think it's just kind of like an even exchange. This is part of what I'm getting myself into. Because people can steal my artwork off of my Instagram easily too. But it's been very helpful. And at the same time, like Society 6 has allowed like also licenses my artwork to like other spots as well. Like they'll sell my artwork through like, let's say, like Urban Outfitters. Like Society 6 helped me get into that. So it's been really helpful.
So what was your first brand partnership for your art?
I think it was Jiggy Puzzles. So I had reached out to them because I saw that they were collaborating with other Black artists online. And I just sent them an email. I was like, hey, what about me? So I sent them.
I like that.
That's literally what I went.
What about me?
That's literally how it went. So I sent them an email, and then it was like a few months before like the ball got rolling, and I had talked directly to the owner. She was like, hey, I really like your work. Let's collaborate. And then she chose my art piece, which is Cali Views, which is totally different. Like a lot of the artwork that she was selling at that time was like more like portraiture work. And me, it was just literally a parachute floating in the sky with the background of like California in an abstract way. And it went really well. Like I think it was like probably a good top seller for Jiggy Puzzles because they started selling it in stores. It was good. It was a good collaboration.
Nice. So how do you go about your collaboration so that you're benefiting financially while also not having to do all the heavy lifting? Because it seems like that's the goal of a collaboration, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the best thing as an artist is to always make sure it's non-exclusive. But if they want exclusive rights, like make sure you get your money for it. Do not settle for like $1,000 for exclusive design. Like make sure you get paid. So most times I've always go for non-exclusive. So I keep rights so then I can sell them elsewhere. Sell my artwork other places.
Got it. So when did the target start knocking, and how did you, as an independent person doing this from home, meet that kind of demand?
It was actually really crazy. I think it was like cool in a way because Jiggy Puzzles is what really led me to that collaboration. So one of the buyers had bought one of the puzzles from Jiggy, which was the Cali Views.
One of the target buyers.
Yes, one of the target buyers. Crazy enough. So he loved it. He had it on his wall and he reached out to me and he was like, hey, I like your work. Let's talk. So it wasn't like an easy process, I would say, because I had to pitch to Target still. Like, like my work, I have to show like my revenue. I had to show like what kind of products I can offer. And since I am a small business, I couldn't go and make 50,000, mugs and plates and cups. So I had worked with a distributor to create everything. So like shout out to Designworks Inc. They're a really cool distributor to work with, and they were able to create everything and ship it out to Target without me having to really do anything. I just had to give them my art files, you can say.
Nice. So one, how did you find them? Was just a simple like Google taking a chance, or did you know an artist who worked with them already?
Oh no, they're a trusted distributor of Target.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Yeah. I think like other Black-owned brands too. When they do the collaboration with Target, they work with like distributors because it's a lot. And then also I guess it allows like also the brands like so then like you don't have that stress of trying to make sure it gets to Target and within certain time.
Yeah, I always wonder that, like, how are these products being made? Who's making them? Who's sending them out to customers after we press order? So that's really good to know and good that there's that support that Target knows to have that so that they can actually take on these kind of brands and then help them to do fulfillment. Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper here because I'm so fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by this world like of art and you starting this side hustle and doing your designs. So how do you stay inspired in a world where as you do something really well, other people start to adapt your aesthetic and copy your vibe, so to speak? How do you stay inspired to create fresh new designs?
I think I feel like for me, I've always, I guess with me having a background in graphic design, like I guess me always doing courses, we're always taught to always kind of like look into like, let's say like a design website or even like Pinterest. You can go on Pinterest, you can go on there's a website called Dribble. There's another website called Behance. I'm always just trying to find inspiration. So if I'm having like severe artist block, I'll go to an art museum to just walk around and just see how other people are designing. I think as an artist, the best thing I have done is the thought of like, there is no original thought. There is no original art piece. There is always someone that came before you. So you're always pulling from some inspiration. So I think that's what helps me a lot with not trying to be like, okay, I have to be the most original artist because there's no such thing. It's just about, it's just creating, you know, it's really just about just expressing yourself.
Yes. I love that you said that because one, I think there's so many quotes about that, right? Like good artists steal and stuff like that. And it's not like literally like about stealing, but it's about the fact that, you know, people who think that they're so creative and they came up with everything on their own are really just delusional because it seeps into your subconscious.
It does. It's like when I see artists do that, they'll post and be like, oh my God, this other artist stole. But it's like, where did you get your idea from? You know, you had to get inspiration from somewhere.
You had
like even though like there's still like a twist to what you're doing, you're still pulling from somewhere, someplace.
Yeah, and by essence of us just having our own minds, like of course your interpretation is always going to be different. So that's where the beauty comes from. But we're all inspired. We're all pulling from things that we have seen subconsciously and consciously. So I love that you say that. And another thing, I've heard you mention that a lot of brand collabs came from you posted on your own Instagram page. How did that work? And how did you know to do that?
I think for me, I'm always trying to save money in a sense. Like I think
same here.
For me, like I think like for me, like I had done Facebook ads before and they're expensive. So I was like, okay, what about you try to do like organic posting? Like try to just like post pictures, you know, especially now with TikTok now, everything's on video. So I try to just think of different ways to just advertise my artwork. It could just be me just fixing stuff around the house, but at the same time, I'm still advertising my work, which works for me. Because with Instagram Shop, you can just tag your products. But also some of my videos go viral. Like a good instance is like I did a drawing of Martin Luther King in crayon and it went viral on TikTok and Bleacher Report reached out to me and they're like, hey, can you do a drawing of UNC's head coach for their basketball team? So I did an illustration of them and it worked out for me.
How do you know what to charge? Like, this is new territory, right? Like, how are you pricing yourself to make sure you're not being taken advantage of by these huge brands too?
Oh yeah, I think a good thing I learned, like I had reached out to an artist. His name is Charlie Palmer. So shout out to him. He was like my mentor. And when I had won a grant to the Lakers, it was like a $10,000 grant plus a mentorship with him. So he's a way more established artist than I am. So I had asked him, I was like, how do you approach brands like for deals and stuff? You know, a brand will reach out and say like, what's your price? So I think the best way is to flip the script on them and say, what's your budget? By asking what their budget is, it allows you to know how much they're willing to pay you. And then after they kind of give you that budget, then you try to go in the direction of like negotiating with them. Like, all right, you want to offer me this? How about just a little bit more and see how far you can go?
Flip the script on them. Y'all hear that? What is your budget?
Flip it.
What is your budget though?
Right? I mean, that's like even something that you learn, like even like if like, so you're working like for your salary, like they might say like, oh, like what's your salary you're looking for? You say, what's the budget for the position? You don't want to be like, oh, I'm fine just getting paid $50,000 and they really had 120 waiting for you. Yeah. So you don't want to set yourself up.
I'm so glad you brought it back to the salary because this applies everywhere. It applies everywhere.
Yes.
And all the while you're doing this, you're still selling from your own website, right?
Yes.
How do you manage a fulfillment with that? Are you using the same supplier to do your own website too?
No, I try to think smart. I think with me, especially with me trying to do the whole 9 to 5 life.
Yeah, yeah,
At first I used to do my own prints, and like it would be like me and my fiance, we would do prints together and stuff.
yeah.
And it was just not, it just wasn't healthy. It just was not healthy because it's like
Right, you're trying to
I
make
think
it
it's
sound like it was a date night, but no.
no, it's not. It's not because it's not fun. I think for me
Right.
personally, it was not fun doing orders because there's a lot of
Yeah,
stress behind it. Like,
yeah.
okay, like is this package right? Is it actually going to make it there? You know, so
Mm-hmm.
I ended up just switching it to where my items are being handled by a third party vendor. Like I use
Mm-hmm.
like print on demand apps, like let's say like Printify, Printful,
Mm-hmm.
and they handle everything for me and
Okay.
it makes sure that that my customers are getting the right product
Right. The
and you know,
quality.
I just don't want them to get something that's like, I know she shipped this from her house. Like she wrapped this in a Target bag. I want it to look professional. So that's why I
Yes.
use something like that.
How do you manage the quality though? Like making sure that it's not like faded looking or anything like that once they print it?
Oh, I think the best thing is like for like other creatives, I think it's good to like order samples. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking into selling your artwork on a sweatshirt, you know, have Printify order a sample from them, a sweater or a hat, art prints, anything from them, you get it. Because they also give you a discounted price as well. So you
Mm-hmm.
can see what it looks like and then hey, even if you don't like it, I mean it's still your work. So I mean you can still
Yeah.
use it in a way. So I think that's the best way to make sure that the quality is good.
Okay. Yeah, got to get those samples. Now, your side hustle started exceeding your full-time
Yes.
salary. So, how did you feel when that happened and what did you do next?
I think for me, it let me know that I was limiting myself in a sense. I think before I was trying to sell my artwork, my mindset was that I'm gonna get my MBA, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go do marketing until I finally have enough money to retire. Like my mind was very simple. Like I was just a 9 to 5 girl. That's it. I go home and I'll chill. But I think with the pandemic and just working from home and then just having the side hustle, it really taught me that I can have a very soft life. I don't need to be driving up and down the road in traffic and sitting in an office for 8 hours. I really was like, I can have a more simple life. So I think even though my life isn't simple, I still have to draw and everything, but I just like that I can just be at home and
Yeah.
just relax. I just love it so much.
And then, of course, other people were working from home, right? So that was good for your business. Everyone all of a sudden
Yes.
wanted to decorate their spaces, make these like myself, closet office with decor in the background. How did you see that impact your work?
It was very helpful. It was I think also too with the whole like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor murders, it definitely put a big focus on black owned businesses. As you saw, a lot of brands were highlighting artists. They can do like they'll maybe do like a little small brand deal with them, like they'll do a drawing for a social media post, or they might even do like a more bigger campaign like Old Navy was doing by having artists do illustrations for t-shirt designs. So it was a huge boost for black owned businesses during the pandemic. And then also too, like you said, with people being at home, they want to decorate their office space. They want to decorate their home because they're stuck in the house now.
Right.
So it was definitely a huge revenue boost for a lot of us.
Once the pandemic kind of started to taper down and people had to go back into the office, well, some people had to go back into the office, did you see a shift in your revenue?
Oh, it definitely was a shift. I will say like some artists had reached out to me and they're like how is your bank account looking like? So so I was like, yeah, it's definitely a shift because people have to go back to work. But I think for me, I think with me always like for me, I have worked like 10, 15 jobs in my life. Like I'm
Mhm.
29 right now. I have worked a bunch of jobs. So my mind has always been like, okay, if something's not working, you gotta shift, you gotta switch it
Mhm.
up. So for me, I was like, okay, so the store's slowing down. What do I do now? So I went into the path of just doing brand collaborations. I was just
Mhm.
doing outreach to companies and saying, hey, do you need something? Do you want to bring something different to your campaigns? Let me
Yeah.
know. It's a lot of just cold emailing and stuff, but you never know what might happen.
Mhm.
I think that's also something I learned too by working in real estate and marketing. It seemed like the
Yeah.
real estate agents doing cold calls, doing cold emails, even though 90% of them may not lead to nothing, but at least that
Right.
10% will lead to something. So I think of me just switching to brand collaborations while still selling my stuff
Mhm.
online is kind of just kept me afloat to where the recession isn't really hurting me in a way,
Okay.
or people going back to work. You can say.
Yeah. All right, y'all, it's time to get out of spreadsheets. If you're still using spreadsheets to keep track of things, let me introduce you to HubSpot CRM. With HubSpot CRM, get real-time data at your fingertips so your teams stay in sync across the customer journey. Track your contacts and your customers, send personalized emails in bulk, and get the context you need to create amazing experiences for your teams and your customers at scale, all from one powerful platform. It's why more than 150,000 companies already use HubSpot CRM to run their business better. Plus, HubSpot's user-friendly interface sets you up for success from day one, so you can spend less time managing software and more time on what matters, your customers. There's no better time to get organized. Get started for free at HubSpot.com today. So in the pre-show, we were talking a little bit about how this entrepreneurship life, this side hustling life, there are moments where, you work for yourself. There are moments where you go back and stack up some more cash, right?
Yeah.
So you've experienced that too. So where are you now in that journey?
I think I'm doing well. I have sales every day. I can't complain, I could say. I feel like as a business owner, I can, if I don't want to work, I'm fine. If I don't want to do a 9 to 5, I can survive. And I always count my blessings every day that I'm in this position, because I know that there's a lot of artists who are struggling to get sales at this point because of there's no booths no more. There's nobody putting us on anymore just because we're Black, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just been really chilling. Also, I guess for me, just being a broke college student too, when I was younger, I've always been about saving. I am always about saving. I think when I really started making money with my art, I had a friend, she was like, girl, why don't you go and buy you a Gucci purse, get you some Chanel or something? I was like, no, I'm not living like that. I was like, I don't live like that. I live bare minimum. I'm not doing it. I always call myself like a cheap date. I'm like, hey, you take me out, I get some food. I'm like, I don't do nothing fancy. I'm just I like to live my life simple. Because then, especially right now with layoffs going on, recession going on, I like to know I have a savings to where hey, I can weather the storm if I need to.
Oh yes, got to. And you also have the choice. If you decide, oh, hey, I'm home and I actually have a lot of free time, maybe I can do both and get even more money. Do you ever think like that?
I do. That's why I always still did the 9 to 5 life while still doing my artwork. Because my mindset is always okay, I want to save money. With me having a house now that we bought our house in 2020, my mindset is hey, if we can get this house paid off real quick, I don't have to do any, we don't have to work as hard, house is paid off, then we can focus on traveling more. My mindset is always just trying to save and just think about the next investment.
Yes, I feel you. I just always in stack mode, to the point though where I'm I have to balance it. And of course, you want to enjoy the present. You want to celebrate your wins. And, you have a whole line in Target. You go to Target.com, your name is popping out at you. What does that feel like?
I think it's surreal. I thought I used to work at Target when I was 10 years ago exactly, which was really weird. It was oh wow. So I was 18, 19, I can't recall, but I guess I was I might have been 18. I gotta look again, but I was 18 and I was a terrible cashier. I was a college student. I was bad. I was just I guess as a kid, you're not really thinking about the future. You're just trying to get some money and just enough money to just be able to buy clothes at Forever 21. Just live simple. So they would call me and they'd be like, hey, do you want to come in pick up another shift? I'd be like, nope. It was just I was just there. I wasn't gonna do nothing extra. I'm here to ring up people. That's it. Don't ask for nothing else. So when I got let go, I was I'm definitely on Target's ban list. They'll never call me for anything. So when they had called me to have my brand Domo Inc inside of Target, I'm okay, I guess you haven't looked at my track record, but okay, we can skip that.
Guess you haven't cross-checked.
Right? I'm hey, don't say nothing, So I was like, so yeah, I ended up telling them, I was like, I used to work at Target as a cashier, so like this is like a big moment for me because it showed like the past doesn't reflect your future in a sense. Like you can really change your life around to where you can become a hard worker because I was definitely not a hard worker back then. So it's a really good like a feel good moment. It's still weird. Like I have like friends from like all over like the US. Like I had a friend like out in like near the Detroit area and she was like, look at your mug. I see your mug.
Right.
It's just so weird in a sense, just to see how far I came. But I'm definitely living in a moment right now. Cause it's really cool to know like how hard you work can really lead to
Yes.
something.
I'm sure it's surreal at times, but just well deserved. I mean, you're just so talented
Thank
and your
you.
work is so, so beautiful. So I'm curious to know, knowing all the things you know now about business and fulfillment and pricing, if you had to go back in time and do anything differently, what would that be?
I wish I would have posted early, like started posting artwork early on. I
Mm.
wish I would have built that confidence at first. I think like as like when I got out of high school, I was scared to use hashtags. I didn't want to look thirsty or anything. I was just scared of what people would think of me. But I really wish that if I went back in time, I wouldn't have thought about that. Because I feel like I probably maybe might have had more of a art career by now if I would have did it early, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe I had to go that way. I had to go be a marketing person. I had to go to college, do all these different things to build up to where I'm at now. But I would definitely, probably like my biggest lesson is just like, don't worry about people's opinions. Just do you.
Yes.
Like, do what makes you happy from day one.
Yes.
Don't think about no one else.
Yes. That is like one of the key things for this side hustle journey. Because when you're side hustling, people know you for one thing. They know you probably for your career. And so when you start showing this other side of yourself or just doing it more, like showing that you're taking it
Mhm.
seriously, it's easy to start to worry like, oh, what are they going to think? They're going to think I'm thirsty. I'm always posting this all the time. Like if you can
Yes,
ignore that human need to feel embarrassed about what people might allegedly think, like you will get so far. If you can push past, that's like a little test. If you could just get
it
past that
is.
test, there is so much waiting for you on the other side, including a
It
lot more
is.
money, y'all.
Yes, I will definitely tell people. Like, I have friends. They're like, I want to be a content creator. I want to do modeling, or
Do
I'm like,
it.
then you need to post. Do it. Like, you
Yeah.
have to reach out to people. I'm like, I don't know what you gotta do. Show up at the spot that you're trying to model at.
Right.
And send them your portfolio. Like, you just have to
Right.
do it. Like, you have to get past that embarrassment. Because I will say, like,
Hmm.
at first it was kind of cringe
Yeah.
trying to reach out to brands and stuff, but it's really not that bad. Like, you might get a no. Like,
Hmm.
maybe in the future it might be a yes. So
Yep.
my mindset is always like, hey, like every time I post, it's just literally just like you never know who's watching. You just have to do it. You just have to
Yep.
get over it. You can't
You just have to
can't
get
think
over
about it
it.
because yeah, because people are gonna judge you regardless. Like even if I don't post nothing, I could just be posting a picture of me just sitting at the beach. There's somebody that's gonna be like, I don't like that picture, but who cares? Because you're really just doing it for yourself. You just have to do things for yourself.
Is so true. And so we'll keep emphasizing that message over here in Side Hustle Pro Land because I know myself included, we need to hear it more than once. It's that just blinders on, ignoring the peanut gallery. Now, as you move forward in life, what's your vision for Domo Inc. and for your life?
I really want to grow Domo Inc. to be more like just be a bigger lifestyle brand. I think right
Hmm.
now I think I'm just doing like just working. I haven't been able to really grow the products. I really want
Mm.
like with the Target line, it
Yeah.
showed how much more I could do with Domo Inc. Like with the paint kits, like the paint by
Hmm.
number set. Like I would love to have more paint by number sets. It's my own company. Like
Yeah.
not just be that exclusive deal with Target because people have been reaching out to me like, hey, I saw you have the Queen is Black. Can we get a King is Black paint set? Like, I would love to have a man version of it.
Yeah.
And also, just like, I just want to just be able to just offer more to people. Like, I want to be selling candles. I want to be selling.
Yeah.
I would love to like learn how to do some patterns, sell some furniture on the side of this Domo
Yes.
Inc. I just want it to be like just like a space to where like a one stop shop for people of color to just find all home decor, apparel, gifts, just grow it into something bigger. And then like, I guess for me personally as an artist, because I do artwork on paper, I really want to get into art galleries. I really want to build my value up as an original, with my originals as well. Like when I did CNBC, I was selling my originals for thousands. So I'm like, okay, if I can sell a piece for $5,000, what about in the future I can sell a piece for $50,000? Like there's just so much potential for me. And I just really just want to just keep building on it.
It's funny that you mentioned the lifestyle space and there's so much potential, right? How do you balance deciding what to do first? You have to have some level of focus and concentration, right? So how do you decide how many products to keep on deck on your website so you're not overwhelming your customers?
I think for me right now, I just been trying to like take it slow. I think at first, when I first started Domo Inc, I was just throwing stuff. I was just throwing anything on the website. You know, I just felt like it just wasn't looking cohesive. So I'm trying to like slow down and look at my product listings, try to fix the ones I still had, the current ones, and just try to promote those as I keep introducing new products. I think I'm just trying to think smaller in a sense so then you don't feel overwhelmed, because like now I have like so many things I really want to do with Domo Inc, but I'm like, if I try to take it all on right now, I'm not gonna get anything done. So I'm just trying to just do like one thing at a time. So right now I'm just trying to like just make new designs to put on. Like right now I really want to start like I can't even say it. But my current idea right now is I'm always studying, but like my current idea is I really want to start like a bathroom line. So right now I've been renovating my bathroom. So I would really love to like create like rugs, bath towels.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to go into.
Oh, that's right up my alley. Like I literally just posted on my personal lifestyle channel, my bathroom refresh. Like I love a bathroom. Okay. I love decorating a bathroom. So when it's here, let me know.
Okay, I will. That is really what I'm working on. Like my mindset is just like, what can I add to a home? Like, so like that. So by now it's the bathroom, the next be kitchen, living space. I'm just always trying to think of the next thing. But definitely trying to like be more aware of what I'm doing instead of just giving people anything. I'm just trying to think about like my customer base. Like what would they want in their bathroom?
Right.
What would they want in their kitchen or their living room? Yes.
And it just shows you how big the opportunity is, because I mean, if you're selling out lines for Target, and it just goes to show the key ingredient is you, right? The key ingredient is you. So you're the lifestyle brand, you are the creator, and you can take it anywhere you want to. But shout out to Target. We love Target, right? We love the distribution and the reach of them. But at the end of the day, you are the main ingredient.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that compliment. My dream is to, I will say, like, I would love to be in Target 365 days a year. Like that's what I'm currently trying to work on. So it's just about like, how do I get my own distribution center? How do I do my own thing? You know, so then when I reach out to these brands, I'd be like, all right, you don't have to do none of the heavy lifting. I have a warehouse in the back. Like, let's do this. What do you need? You want some plates? You want some mugs? Let me know. So then I can just get it going. So right now I'm in this like building phase. So I'll say I'm in my mixtape era, and hopefully I got the album. So.
I think it's more than mixtapes, but I get what you mean.
Maybe I got my first album. Target's the first album. So now I'm trying to get to.
Right. So we're going to transition to the lightning round. You just answer the very first thing that comes to mind. Keep it short and sweet. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. First question. What is a resource that has helped you in your business that you can share with the Side Hustle Pro audience?
Have someone to help you. I would say like have someone that's in your corner that supports you. That is so helpful because that keeps your mind right. Because when you're just sitting there by yourself, you can easily start doubting yourself, self-doubting.
Number 2, who is a Black woman entrepreneur who you would want to switch places with for a day and why?
Jackie, I think it's like Jackie.
I know. Yep.
Yeah, I was with her. Her home is gorgeous. She's literally just in her house putting
just vacuuming
on her vacuuming, and then she literally just throws a candle in the corner, and she's like forever mood. I'm like, I want that easy life. That's what I want.
Yes.
Her life is way more hectic.
We don't know what's behind the scenes for sure. Yeah. But it's strategic, and it's also a brand that's been built on taking time to form that community and that audience.
Yes.
A lot to learn from her for sure. Number 3, what is a non-negotiable part of your morning routine?
Coffee. I need coffee.
Number 4, what's a personal habit that you think significantly helps you in business?
Every single day, I try to like just hit one goal of like, okay, like did I at least make a new picture? Did I make a post? You know, I'm always just trying to set a goal to do something that makes me feel like, all right, I did something in my day. Like I got something done. That's fulfilling.
And then finally, number 5, what is your parting advice for fellow women entrepreneurs who want to be their own boss, but are worried about losing that steady paycheck?
Ooh, that is tough. I will say before you give up your 9 to 5, is like make sure you have the savings. Make sure that your business has a foundation, because you really want to be able to be in a position like when you're running your business that, let's say, if someone of a brand, or it could just be even just a company just wants to partner with you, and you don't want to be in a position where you get taken advantage of because you don't have the income. So I would say always make sure before you quit your 9 to 5, make sure that you are financially stable to where if something comes up that's a scam or doesn't fit right with your soul, you have the option of saying no. I think that's the best thing. That's what keeps a side hustle or your true hustle or this full-time hustle enjoyable to where you're not feeling like I'm getting scammed for the dollar.
Love it. So Dominique, where can people connect with you and Domo Inc. after this episode?
Oh, perfect. So yeah, if you want to shop my artwork, home decor, apparel, and more, you can shop my website, which is DomoINK.com, which is DomoINK.com. And you can also find me on Instagram. It is Snoop Doggy Dom. It's a play on Snoop Dogg, obviously. But it is, but I'll spell it out for you. So it's SNOOPDOGGYDOM. Also you can find me everywhere. So like I forgot, but like those are my 2 main spots, and also on TikTok as well, which is TikTok.com at Domo Inc.
So reach out to Dominique, find her online, shop her whole collection, both on her website and Targets. And thank you so much for being in the guest chair.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was a fun conversation.
Yes, it was. All right, guys. And there you have it. Hey guys, thanks for listening to Side Hustle Pro. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other side hustlers just like you to find the show. And if you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Side Hustle Pro. Plus, sign up for my 6-bullet Saturday newsletter at sidehustlepro.co/newsletter. When you sign up, you will receive weekly nuggets from me, including what I'm up to, personal lessons, and my business tip of the week. Again, that's sidehustlepro.co/newsletter to sign up. Talk to you soon.